Hello guys, this is another countries episode, and as you can see I changed some minor borders, like for example the Tunisian one with Egypt and with Morocco, and also with all of France's borders and the border between and the borders of Germany. And yes, these are the first ever ex-slaves, which are French. So yeah, I also finished up some borders of the purple team, so it looks more sporty and wiggly. Same thing with the Ukrainian one. So yeah. Now, time to go over to Asia. China have to discover more land. We'll push even further over here and take this land for themselves. Along with some exclaves along the coast in, I believe this is Macau and this is Hong Kong. I believe that's where they're located. So, make it connected to China and US. So, yeah. They also push further inland into China. So, yeah. So, yeah. Now, Korea is all landlocked up here. So, their plan is to attempt to capture some Chinese cities, as those are one of the only areas that are easily accessible. I think second, I forgot to mention all these extraction areas. If you're wondering why they're here, it's because the Indus Valley is here. So all the water from the Indus Valley flows and they extract it to send water to the west of Iran. So yeah. Anyway, since this area has a forest, it's going to be kind of difficult to push in, but they're able to go around the fort and encircle the fort as a border skirmish. This is all a border skirmish, and the Koreans will start pushing up to here, But if you remember, there was the more democratic South, so they will kick up a small rebellion. And when I mean small, it includes two major cities. So yeah, because if you're wondering, if you do not understand what happened earlier, in the very beginning, Japan owned these, but after Japan went into its Sengoku era, as I like to call it, what happened was that Japan. So Japan ended up breaking apart, and there were two Koreas: the more democratic South and the monarchist North. The monarchist North ended up winning with Siberia's support. So, yeah. Along with this, another war in Asia will happen between the Chukotkains right up here, and also the Siberians, because their plan is to conquer all Siberia, along with trying to cross the Bering Strait into Alaska. So, yeah. Anyway, Siberia will make some solid gains in the Kamchatka Peninsula, pushing quite far up, and then into the Aleutian Islands. So, yeah. Now it causes the Chukotkains, I'll refer to them as the Chukotkains, to be incredibly worried, as they are scared that once the Siberians capture Kamchatka, they'll ride through the Aleutian Islands straight to the capital. So their plan is to navally harass them, while these guys will push further down really far into the fertile area of Russia, but of Siberia. So, yeah, wait. Whoa, it's such a mess. So, yeah, they will go through this. So they'll capture all the Siberian area. Let me get rid of that and that. And this too. This is annoyingly bugged. So yeah. Now the Alaskans, now what the Alaskans are doing, they realize that, hey, the Siberians are our biggest threat, so let's support the Kamchatkans with our naval power via the Bering Strait. So yeah, I also added a trade route for Kamchatka, like that, for some, okay, for the Chukchi guys, and also the Alaskans. So yeah. So they will use these trade routes to get across over and supply them in the capital, but they cannot push any further because the Siberians control this key city. Okay, this key city that links up. So because of that, because the Chukchi guys were incredibly dependent of the Siberians. So due to wartime, a new trade route is quickly. Wait, what? Wait. What the heck just happened? What? Warring times? Due to warring times, a trade route will be created between the capital all the way up to this major city. But it's incredibly long and arduous, along with one to these islands, because their hope is to hold these islands out, so therefore they can produce more food. So yeah, since their area is mostly in the north. Anyway, with the Alaskan areas, with the Alaskan support, these guys will successfully capture these major cities and some mines in northern Siberia. And then the Siberians realize, hey, joke's over. We don't want your shenanigans anymore. So yeah. So these guys only capture a bit of northern Sakhalin, and then capture this area, this, and this. So now the Siberians realize, hey, maybe we shouldn't ignore this front in favor for this other front, but now they just kind of cut off our access to Sakhalin, since this was our only areas. So now these guys are mainly getting food from southern Sakhalin and Hokkaido. Anyway, I realized all the names of Japan. This one's, sorry, not all the names of the islands. I don't know this one, but here's Hokkaido, here's Honshu, and here's Kishu. So, yeah. Anyway, after a while, the Siberians just attack back and capture this key fort, allowing trade to start reflowing into Sakhalin again. And after capturing this city, this whole division over here is completely encircled after this point is captured, killing thousands in the process. So, yeah. After that massive encirclement, the southern offensive is documented as the Chukchi people recall them to fight in Kamchatka, because Kamchatka is not going very good for them. As they capture this major city and this major city, and finally capture those two islands. So yeah, the ones they so badly wanted to keep. So yeah, after that, so the main fallback line is back to where the original border used to be, I believe. But why did this wars keep on happening? Here's the trick: just do something like that. Well, pow. So, yeah, the main defensive line is across here and to try and defend in Kamchatka, while also trying to defend against these guys in Aleutian Islands. So, after a while, these Aleutian Island guys will take advantage of this trade route and capture this very important city, but it doesn't. So therefore, this whole Kamchatka area is going without supply, where the only supply it just got captured to an amphibious landing over here. They also captured some important naval bases in the Kiel Islands. So, yeah. Anyway, wait. Here. So anyway, after capturing that, the Siberians realized that it's a really important thing to capture this city. So yeah. So they pulled troops off of this border. So they let the Chuchik guys capture the southern area. But after that, they repositioned those troops all the way up here and then end up capturing this major city, meaning that supplies can start flowing again. So, yeah. So, yeah, supplies are now flowing back into Kamchatka, which causes the guys suffering from attrition in Kamchatka to be able to push them back. But however, the fort and this stronghold is holding firm, as the fort is supplying the stronghold, and these guys keep on dumping more and more and more resources. So yeah, but eventually, due to a naval invasion, due to island hopping campaigns from Wopao, they eventually captured the forts back before eventually capturing this. So after they realized that their desperate counteroffensive was a failure and the Siberians are doing its own island hopping campaign to the Aleutian Islands, slowly peeking over to Unalaska, like that, and seizing these very important islands in the Bering Strait, and also seizing St. David Island. And they, after controlling all of the seas in over here and threatening the capital, the Chukchi guys decide to capitulate. But here's the problem. So the problem is that due to Alaska's shenanigans with Chukotka, Siberia and Alaska are technically in a war. But they quickly agree on a peace agreement, saying, "Hey Alaska, you give me these, and in return you can have the old capital over here, and along with the Aleutian Islands." So yeah, those guys got to keep Unalaska and all of the Aleutian Islands, along with all of these islands in the Bering Strait. Not the Bering Strait, the Bering Sea. So yeah. Anyway, Siberia's massive empire is quite big, but here, wait, let me give you a visual example. But all of them, wait, sorry. But till this area, you see, wait, sorry. From this city onwards, all of this land is midwinter. So basically, most of its northern lands are completely utter useless. So yeah, most of these little civilian bases are here just for the resources, kind of like Yazutok. Or the green areas are mines themselves, these dark green ones. They're either areas to extract stuff. Anyway, how's the Koreans going? The Koreans successfully recapture this major city and successfully capture this fort. So yeah, that's how it's going. Along with landing across the Bay of Beijing, I believe this is what it's called, the Bay of Beijing, causing China to surrender to the Koreans, agreeing, hey, you can have these key areas to the Bay of Beijing, but in return, just please stop harassing us. And Korea does not accept, and they'll quickly regret. Because China gets its exploratory military areas from the bottom. They take the explorers and then, which are military guys. So they'll take those guys, send them up, and then to fight the Koreans, causing them to lose the Shanxi Peninsula, this fort, and started to be pushed out. And the Koreans didn't realize that, hey, they screwed up. So they agree on a peace treaty. Yeah, well, China would get this land back, but Korea would still control this peninsula. Yeah, I'll give some land from Siberia, so therefore it looks more pretty. So, yeah, that's the deal. What the heck? Okay, so after a while, China needs some more stuff. So they send explorers. That's way too bright. They send explorers through across the Pearl River till the source in the Himalayas, along with sending some people from, I don't remember, the Yellow River. Yeah, the Yellow River, till its source in the Himalayas. Wait, let me look at mountains. Okay, so it goes way further. So yeah, they send those two exploratory groups, and eventually, due to the explorer guys, they can just like guarantee the outland, what they know, and also because they have a trade with India, they know what the Indians know, so they know about this. So because of this, they can basically guess what's here. So massive discovery in Asia. Now people are grabbing away at it. So they all meet up in Japan. So yeah, more specifically, Japan is a socio-anarchist society. So yeah, that basically means they stick with traditionalism. So yeah, while the Koreans successfully beat back the monarchists, it's a little bit before the monarchists do a counteroffensive. Due to the monarchist shenanigans, the original plan, and to meet up in Korea is cancelled and is sent to Japan. The treaty is watched by, is moderated by Siberia, Korea, and Japan, the monarchist Korea. And Vietnam, Central Asia, India, India and China all have grabs at it. So here's how it's going to be split up. So first, the Vietnamese will grab like some tidbits over here before they're eventually settling down, up, down, like that. Settling like that. Fixing. Whoa. Stop, bro. Okay, there, work out. So, yeah. That's what Vietnam gets out of it. So, now what does India get out of it? Now what India gets is a portion like this, before it eventually reaches the Vietnamese border. Like that, something like that. The purple team, what they will get is, wait, we need to do some adjustments to the border with India. It's like a long tentacle, like that, kinda. You know what? I'll give them slightly more so it doesn't look as ugly. So it'll look something like this for the Central Asian team. That's what they will get. After that, another divide happens, which gives the Central Asian team this. These guys this. Like that, out of the claimed land. Next exact, China enters the field for the third partition of the discovered lands. So China will claim a massive chunk of the south, like that. So yeah. Anyway. So yeah, this is what China gets from the diplomatic stance China gets, and finally for the third partition, China gets slightly more lands in the north, but Siberia will gain some lands over here, like that, kind of like that. Right, it looks too much like a smelt. I'll also do something about that. So yeah, and China will get its last tidbit over here. So yeah, that's how the newly discovered lands are split up like this. The west will go to a buffer state between China and the Central Asian team, because they're worried that a expansionist empire, one of them, may try and expand more. So yeah, let me explain. Okay. So what they're worried about is that India, using this small gap, will try and expand its empire further and further and further, and become way too much of a great power. So everyone agrees to turn the last bit into a Nepali nation. So yeah, the nation of Nepal. So these are the agreed borders of Asia. So yeah. Anyway. So major cities. So people will start planting major cities down. Nepal will have one here, one up here, some here, one right down here, and one right over here. And China will have here, and here, and finally here. Vietnam will have one here. This is blocked off by, wait, let me check. Yeah, that area is blocked off by the Himalayas. So therefore, Vietnam can't put a bunch of cities there, but there will still be one, and of course be some extractors. So there's going to be a mine here, a mine here, and for Vietnam there's going to be 3 mines in the Himalayas, like that. So yeah. Okay. And for forts. Vietnam will have forts along the Indian border to protect the Himalayan interests, along with the one right next to the city, this major city, because they're worried that China may want its hands on it, and one here and one here. So yeah, for China, they'll have one here, one here, like that in the middle of the Himalayas, but it's not so important to China among the border with Nepal, so they're only placed 2. And the reason why they aren't focusing on the border with India is because the mountains are blocking them and they have a really small border with them. So yeah, now for Nepal's capital. What is it going to be? Well, let me choose a major city. I'll say that this is Nepal's capital, right there. So yeah, I'm going to end it prematurely, but I hope you enjoyed. I also did some more fixes, and next episode, I'll give you a hint on next episode. It's going to be about Africa and the Americas. So yeah, this one was about Asia. So yeah, goodbye, peace out, or whatever you say.